Hello, welcome everybody to a new edition of DevLive. This is a live edition with speakers and partners, guests that will participate at DevTalks 2022. I'm Andrea Balaj. I'm happy to be here, and we'll have a sneak peek at what the agenda of a large-scale conference means. So today I have with me a fantastic guest, and I'm honored to present Leigh Felton, Chief of Staff and GTM leader Microsoft Worldwide Public Sector. Welcome, Leigh. Thank you for accepting our invitation.
Thank you so much, Andrea, for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
So let's warm a bit the discussion with our audience and talk about some things about you. So how did it start? Have you ever, I don't know, have you wanted for the beginning to start a career in tech industry?
Absolutely not. I was going to go into broadcasting. And so I started my career in broadcast communications. And then I worked at a news station, hated it so much that I changed my degree from broadcast communications to business communications. And so I ended up working at MSNBC, still thinking that eventually I might end up at MSNBC in Secaucus, New Jersey, and then ended up taking a role inside of Microsoft proper in communications and marketing, and I haven't looked back.
Oh, that sounds interesting. So here are you now in a new role. It sounds very awesome. Can you tell us more about your role, some insights?
Well, actually, not a new role for me. So I've been at Microsoft over 23 years. I've been at Microsoft for a total of about 17 years. And of those, I think about 9 of those years I've spent as a chief of staff. And so I am chief of staff for worldwide public sector. And I've been in this current position for about a year. But like I said, I've been a chief of staff, and it's one of those roles that just requires you to give your all, to roll up your sleeves when something needs to be done. It doesn't matter how big, it doesn't matter how small. When something needs to be done, you roll up your sleeves and you get it done. And that's how I also took on, going back to my roots around marketing communications, how I took on a number of the go-to-market governance activities, as well as I'm a co-lead for Microsoft Customer and Partner Solution Organization. Under Judson Althoff. It's about 100,000 people. I'm the co-lead for responsible AI in that organization as well.
Well, that sounds impressive. So
Busy.
busy, yeah, and very busy. So you bear a huge responsibility,
Yes.
and you also exchange energy and information with the community. So now you will be present on the Women in Tech stage at DevTalks on 9th of
Yes.
June. So
Yes.
you'll be talking about responsible AI and from theory to practice. Can you tell us a sneak peek about your keynote or some
Well,
insights?
instead of a sneak peek into the keynote, I'll tell you about my passion around technology equity, responsible AI, and the reason that any opportunity that I get to be a microphone and to allow people to know their responsibility when it comes to understanding how AI technologies work, that I take that opportunity because as we think about technology in general, we have come to rely on technology. We've come to trust technology, and technology can be trusted, but not at an absolute truth. Because a calculator can tell you 2 plus 2 is 4, doesn't mean that when an AI algorithm or recommender gives you a recommendation or a suggestion, it doesn't necessarily mean that that is the truth. And so, as we think about marginalized communities all over the world, there can be significant harm and risk, as well as benefits if the technology is done correctly. We can really help those communities. But if it's not done correctly and it's we incorporate societal biases, our unconscious biases, which will absolutely happen, then that is when those marginalized communities and others are desperately hurt and can be very harmed. And so it is my goal to really promote the technology, because I think, we as a society need these technologies in order to better ourselves and the great benefits that they can have. Think about healthcare, think about even, things as much as retail. But we have to do it responsibly. We have to do it ethically. And that is the center of my passion.
It's good that you mentioned, in a sort of a way, something similar to our theme for this year. So this year we have Humanity Reimagined as a background theme for DevTalks 2022. And in this way, what do you think the future predicts for us? 2 to 3, I don't know, future technologies maybe, or predictions that we will witness in the next period?
That's an interesting question, because I am a huge sci-fi movie buff. So I absolutely love sci-fi movies. And in these futuristic movies, there's two ways that the future goes, right? It either goes in a direction where the world, everybody's in flying cars, and, to make our meals, we push a button and then we have a beautiful gourmet dinner. And, so it either goes in the way where technology has just expanded the ever loving opportunities that we have and that we want in society, or the other thing that futuristic movies show is the devastation of the world, that technology has somehow helped and managed to put us in a detrimental situation where we are living in times where we don't use technologies really, where we don't have the opportunity to really, prosper, or we're foraging for food. And so I always think about these sci-fi movies as, extremes. But when I think about the future of technology, I think it actually could go in either of those directions. But we can create a whole new path as well, where we're not wholly dependent on technology, and where technology hasn't destroyed the world. We can go in a direction where, if we hold the technology, the people who are creating the technology, and the people who are using and actually customizing the technology, if we hold them accountable and we stand up and we say, we have an understanding that biases are in AI technologies, and we are taking that into consideration as one aspect. If we hold technologies and everyone who's involved in the development, creation, and delivery of those technologies accountable, then the future is going to be very beautiful and very bright for all of us.
Let's expect that, and to be to keep the evolution scale, and to, I don't know, to benefit from these 2 years, maybe, if it's natural to say so, because it had been 2 difficult years, and we are constantly looking for the positive perspective in the humanity now, and step by step, I think we'll come back to a hybrid new format. So this year we want to present this phase also on the Women in Tech stage, and how it has been in the challenges that were in the last 2 years. But moreover, we want to move on also to the successful tech industry stories. And I think my next questions will refer to what is, in your opinion, the most important trait that women should have in order to be successful in this industry, maybe, or at least to, I don't know, to be brave.
So first, Andrea, first off, I will say women are already great. That you're already great exactly how you are. And It's not according to a company, it's not according to a partner or anybody else to tell you otherwise, that you're already great. But in terms of, what's going to happen past COVID, obviously nobody knows. Nobody knows when, COVID's going to be over, right? And so I would say, in the way that I view things, is we take it one step at a time. So the immediate step when COVID first started was, we don't know what this is. Maybe we just pause because it will pass. Then we realized, okay, this is not going to just pass. We have to have a different way to work. We have to have a different way to educate. We have to have a different way to learn. And no matter how normal we go back to in terms of the days before COVID, we know the world will never be the same. And technology has really helped us to survive the most difficult 2.5 years that many of us have ever been through. And so now I would say the path forward is combining what we feel is more of a normalized way of life with this new, in my opinion, freedom that technology has provided. And for women especially, it gives us choices. There are so many choices now. Whether it's the way we work, whether it's who we work for, whether it's how we work, it gives us so many choices. And I would say, take that opportunity to really enjoy that path and to figure out what is right for me. How do I lay a foundation that gets me to a point, especially if you were, anywhere close to the technology arena? Where do I take a step to get to the point of where I need to realize my balance in life? And that is the opportunity that I think that we're in now, as we're, entering, just past, 2.5 years in COVID.
I really appreciate the warm message and the positivity behind it. Actually, I think these are the kind words we need day by day. And if I may, I wanted to ask you if you follow a professional mentor, or is there any professional mentor that it's important for you? And I don't know, you like to mention some traits that has brought you along the way?
I've had bad mentors, so I'm not going to stand here and say that, oh, I've had just all this amazing mentors. But I actually have a mentor for many things. So I don't actually just have, and I've never been a person. So this was throughout my career where I've only had one mentor, because we're multidimensional people, we're intersectional people. And so we can have a mentor specifically focused on the career or the area of expertise that we want to be in. And so we can have a mentor who is, miles ahead of us, that can help guide us and help, help transform us into that knowledgeable person. I have mentors. I identify as a neurodiverse Black female, and I have mentors who are, white males, that they help me with certain things, but then there's certain things that they can't necessarily help me with, or give me different perspectives on. And so I have mentors that are neurodiverse. I have mentors who are female, senior executive female, who have a completely different perspective than a senior executive male would. And so I get these perspectives and I bring them together and I learn from all of these individuals. And that's just how I have, grown and shaped my career over the past 20 years, is through, getting closer and attaching myself to people who, first, I can relate to on some level. They don't necessarily have to look like me. They don't have to sound like me. They don't have to, be the same gender or same color as me. But there has to be something that resonates with me to trust and lean on this person. And so that is really what I look for, is what is that aspect that makes this person resonate with something that I feel I can learn, I can grow from, and I can be a better me.
Thank you for sharing that with us. And this leads us to my favorite part, let's say so, one of my favorite parts actually. If you have a message for the audience, that the IT community that is in Romania, if you want to transmit something or recommend something, I think now it's the space where you
Okay.
can do it.
Well, let me just say, first and foremost, my heart, my love, my thoughts and prayers are with all Europeans at this time right now. And I know that, you know, we're in a difficult situation in that we're supposed to push forward and move forward. And, you know, we have a job to do. We have all types of other things that are going on around us, and we have to keep our heads up. But at the same time, let's remember every person in this hybrid world that you're looking at across that screen, every person that you're looking at, if you're watching television, the news, and you're looking at, you know, currently in Ukraine, every person on the other side of that screen is a real live human being. And we need to remember these are people that we're talking to. It's not just about getting our work done. It's not just about meeting that deadline, meeting that goal. There's lots of things going on in the world right now. And sometimes it's okay to pause, check in on somebody, and make sure they're okay.
Thank you, Leigh. Thank you for answering our questions and taking the time to be here with us. That's a message that goes to the heart, and we are showing our support for all those who are now, structuring another words, seeing
Yes.
another way of living.
Yes.
And thank you for joining tonight, and we'll see you next time on DevTalks 2022, 9th of June, on Women in Tech stage. Thank you, everybody, again. See you at the next live interview.
Thank
Bye.
you, Andrea. Thank you.